Have you ever noticed someone who rarely posts on social media? No stories, no updates, no carefully curated life highlights. In a world where everyone documents everything from their coffee to their crises, these individuals choose silence, not because they have nothing to share, but because they've understood something most people haven't. Most assume they're shy or antisocial or secretly unhappy, but psychology suggests something very different. People who post less often score higher in introspection, emotional regulation, and internal validation. They're not afraid of being seen, they're cautious about what being seen costs. Social media promise connection. What it often delivers is performance. Think about the last time you wanted to post something meaningful. You didn't just share it, you optimized it. You chose the best angle, adjusted the lighting, rewrote the caption, anticipated reactions. By the time you hit post, the moment had already been transformed. It stopped being an experience, it became content, and that shift is subtle but powerful. There's a concept in psychology called psychological ownership. It's the feeling that something deeply belongs to you, your memories, your joy, your grief. But when you publish a personal moment, something changes. It becomes open to interpretation. Your happiness becomes measurable in likes. Your pain becomes a discussion thread. The experience is no longer entirely yours, and some people feel that loss more intensely than others. What makes this interesting is that most people who stopped posting weren't always silent. They participated, they shared, they engaged, they played the game until something shifted. Maybe they noticed how draining it felt to constantly curate their identity. Maybe they realized they were experiencing sunsets through a camera instead of through their eyes. Or maybe they simply became aware of the performance. Because that's what social media subtly demands performance. Every caption is branding, every image is staging, every update is a micro presentation of who you want to appear to be. And the reward? Dopamine, the same neurotransmitter linked to reinforcement and addictive behaviors. Hearts, comments, notifications, tiny digital applause. Over time, the brain adapts. You don't just share experiences, you start evaluating them based on how shareable they are. And that's where the shift becomes psychological. People who choose not to post often have a strong internal locus of control. Their self worth isn't calibrated by engagement metrics. They don't need strangers to confirm their happiness. They just need to feel it. But that choice isn't always peaceful. There's a phenomenon called self presentational pressure, the sense that you're constantly being evaluated, even when you're offline. For some, that pressure becomes exhausting, not because they fear judgment, but because they're tired of managing perception, so they step back, not from people, from performance. And here's the paradox the platforms designed to connect us often amplify comparison. When you stop posting, something interesting happens. You start noticing who reaches out without needing an update. You discover which relationships were built on genuine curiosity and which were built on passive scrolling. Silence reveals clarity. People who rarely post tend to protect unrecorded moments, conversations that aren't screenshotted, laughter that isn't documented, achievements that aren't announced. They understand something quietly powerful. Not everything meaningful needs witnesses. Studies on digital detox periods show measurable increases in emotional stability and life satisfaction. When your identity isn't constantly reflected back through likes and comments, it stabilizes internally. It becomes less reactive, more grounded. You stop editing your life for an invisible audience. You start living it. Messy, imperfect, real. This doesn't mean they hate technology. It doesn't mean they're superior. It means they've made a trade. Visibility for peace, attention for autonomy, performance for presence. Because once something becomes public, it no longer belongs only to you. It belongs to interpretation, to comparison, to the algorithm. And some people simply prefer to keep parts of themselves untouched. There's something almost rebellious about that in today's world. While everyone competes for attention, they choose depth. While others broadcast, they observe. They're not invisible, they're intentional. They understand something simple yet profound. Privacy isn't loneliness, silence isn't emptiness, and being unseen doesn't mean being insignificant. Sometimes the most authentic way to exist is quietly, fully, without turning every moment into a headline. That's not withdrawal, that's presence. If this resonated with you, share your perspective below. And if you're interested in understanding the deeper psychology behind everyday behaviors, subscribe, because the mind is more complex than the feed makes it seem. See you in the next deep dive.